Hello my fellow capitans, 6-3 here. In this video we're going to be talking doubloons. You've come to this video because you either need more doubloons or you play Sea of Thieves, don't yet know about doubloons, and you just want whatever they are. Well, you should want them, and here's why. You can use them to purchase some limited time cosmetics from Duke. While most cool cosmetics just cost a lot of gold, there is an infinite source of gold out there, you just have to be willing to go get it. Depending on your current doubloon situation, you don't want to be solo slooping with a hull full of regret simply because you watched an episode of Hoarders that day and couldn't part way with your doubloons to buy the cool ship customizations that won't ever be available again. On a lighter note, if you're not already a pirate legend, for a mere 30 doubloons you can buy a level with one of the factions and save yourself some grinding on the open seas. I do not recommend using doubloons for this purpose until you already have one faction at level 50 and need to get the last few levels from the other two factions. Most players' factions are not all at the same level, and for your average loot haul, it's normally a mix of treasure for the three factions, the Gold Hoarders, Order of Souls, and the Merchant Alliance. Therefore, if you simply focus on leveling your lowest faction, once you get into the low 40s with your highest faction should hit 50 or be very close by the time your lowest faction gets to the mid to high 40s, meaning you don't need to use as many doubloons to finish off getting to Pirate Legend. Unless you simply have a dump truck load of doubloons you're sitting on, in which case, I appreciate you for even having watched this video in the first place. Cheers to you! In addition, at Duke you can swap doubloons for gold, but I do not recommend doing this. As I've said before, you technically have unlimited access to gold so long as you have some time, while doubloons will only be awarded to you for doing certain tasks and only rewarded one time, so you should be spending them wisely. That being said, I want to address one thing before we get into the easiest ways for you to get your filthy hands on these doubloons: the Mercenary Missions. While these are both a good source for doubloons since many people are completing these voyages and it is easy to find a group, these voyages actually cost you 5 doubloons each to buy. So while everyone will receive doubloons for completing, whomever bought it will get a net 5 less than everyone else. So if everyone does their part and buys one from time to time, we can all evenly enjoy the benefit. Meanwhile, in every open crew and even some crews that get together themselves, inevitably, someone in the crew addresses the Megalodon in the room and says, "Hey guys, does anyone have the voyage yet?" 1 in 10 crews, someone will randomly have already bought it and you're on your way. Meanwhile, the other 9 crews, it's just silence. Everyone pretends they didn't hear the questions, or they start shooting their gun like they're too distracted to respond even though you're at the outpost. Or you have the crewmate who jumps up to the front of the ship and says, "He'll be right back," while also ignoring the question. He has positioned himself so that he can see if a voyage gets placed down before he comes back. Nobody wants this crew, so let's all do our part and buy some voyages and figure out how we can get some more doubloons. Some of the easiest doubloons in the game come from the most difficult region, the Devil's Roar. You can get 5 doubloons for simply stepping foot on each of the islands in the Devil's Roar, so if you haven't already been everywhere, take a look in your Forsaken Shores Reputation tab of the Bilge Rats and get the easiest 75 doubloons the game has to offer. While you're in this tab, at the top of page 2, on 5 of the islands there's a skeleton with a journal you can read for 10 doubloons each. So for 125 doubloons, it's worth your time to at least sail over and do some exploring, if the volcanic waters are not your normal stomping grounds. Next up, we have the Shrouded Spoils tab of the Bilge Rats. While you can't really avoid taking care of the Kraken if it comes upon you, one thing I find most crews do is ignoring the Megalodon, since you can almost always either outrun it or sail close enough to an island that the Megalodon will leave you alone. Pirates always already have a task at hand and usually don't want to be bothered with stopping to waste time and supplies taking care of a Meg. Check who you've killed and who you have not, since there are plenty of doubloons to be had for simply taking care of the creatures of the deep. If you find that you simply don't encounter the Kraken very often like myself, it will only spawn if there is neither a ghost fleet or a skeleton fort currently active. So if you don't see the icons in the sky, don't travel very far without the necessary supplies to fight back. The Festival of the Damned commendations are also a good source for relatively low effort doubloons. While you may have already done most of the required tasks, such as being killed by a shark, by lava in the Devil's Roar, by a skeleton, by lightning, by a snake, or by an enemy player, while dead on the Ferry of the Damned, you need to make sure to pull out your lantern and take the flame in order to get the commendation. You can then store these different colors on the different lanterns of your ship, and you can earn more commendations for having all of them on your ship at one time, and for using the colors to light the braziers on islands in different regions of the map. Finally, we have the doubloons associated with the Cursed Crews. While these can be done solo, it will be much easier to have at least one crewmate to help. The hardest part will be finding the required cannonballs without wasting too much time simply going around looting. In order to get these doubloons, you need to kill 5 skeletons after you have afflicted them with a certain cursed cannonball. The easiest way to accomplish this is pulling up to a small island such as Paradise Spring and L17, since it always has skeletons and you have a clear line of sight to the island. You'll want to have your cursed cannonball loaded and then go ashore and gather up the skeletons and bring them to the edge of the island near the ship. You can then shoot them with the cursed cannonball, sword lunge off, and kill them while they are still afflicted to get your doubloons. You'll get additional doubloons after you've killed 80 skeletons this way, and even more after 200. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video, and happy doubloon hunting!